I think the whole way that Charlotte approaches her material is a voice that's very important in the dance world, and one that's not that well represented. I think she has a very clear interest in exploring feminist issues, in exploring the world from a woman's perspective. But what I love about her work is not just the passion and the focus, but the fact that there's sort of no polemical ego there. It's mediated through a really sensitive awareness of experience and texture and personality and difference. So you don't feel that she's foisting a message onto the material. You feel that these issues are growing out of the people who are involved in them, out of the research she's done, out of her own thinking. So it's a very textured work, I think. And as I said, it's from a very female perspective without that female perspective being in any way exclusive. You can see similarities, comparisons with other dance theatre. Pina Bausch, obviously, Alain Platel. There's that slow time, that focus on personalities and ideas unfolding, those sort of rather strange juxtapositions of images that aren't just about being tricksily visual, but about drawing you deeper into this particular emotional, imaginative world she sets up. But I think, having said that similarity with European dance theatre, I think what she brings to it is a sort of British sensibility too, which is, as I said, very much rooted in sort of detail and experience, and it feels careful in a way that maybe other choreographers aren't. It feels very careful of the material. It feels very personal to Charlotte. I know nothing about her, really, her personal life, but I have a sense that she's quite naked in her work and draws on quite a lot of her own experience. So it has a sort of a kind of candid quality, a kind of intimacy with the audience that I do find impressive, and that she manages to sustain from work to work. I never feel with Charlotte's work there's a few tricks of craft that she's repeating. It feels like she's addressing the material each time. I think of her as a choreographer of stage images and stage experiences. To me, the movement is transparently to do with what she's trying to express, with the performers she's working with. And I think because the range of performers is so great and she pays so much attention to her musicians as well as to her dancers, I think of it as theatrical, but obviously choreography is such a huge term that what she puts on stage is obviously choreographed. It's very meticulously detailed in movement and rhythm and pacing. But yes, I mean, it's more than dance, no question. The fact that she works across generations, there is a sort of familial quality to it, which I think, again, feeds back to your sense that all the time she's completely engaged in the material she's developing rather than imposing it from the outside. I think it's interesting that she's been working for this long and in a sense has remained not at the absolute visible forefront of the profession. I mean, people know exactly who she is, the work she's doing, but it's retained a certain scale and a certain kind of modesty, if you like. Maybe that's intentional, maybe that allows her to work the way she wants to. I think it says something about the maybe the more high-profile productions that maybe international producers and programmers tend to tour. On the other hand, as far as I'm concerned, it's wonderful she's there, it's wonderful she's pressing forward, not only with the kind of work she does, but obviously with the kinds of work practices that she's trying to initiate. And I think not everybody needs to be up there shouting. I think Charlotte's doing plenty of shouting in the spaces that matter. And that sort of slow burn career often has as much impact as someone who has a much more startling and starry trajectory.